Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I will give Councilmember Musgrove a moment to not trip up the stairs, make it back to his seat. This is March 25th, 2025. If you could please rise. Oh, in fact, Councilmember Musgrove, now you get to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would, please.
I am honored.
Oh, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then we have an invocation this evening. God, we ask your blessings on those who have been called to lead this community in which we live, play, and work. Guide us peacefully through debate. Remind us that we are not only leaders, but most of all servants, and that it is our responsibility and ours alone to serve the common good of all. Grant us the wisdom and courage to know what to do is right, good, and true. May we always speak when it is time to speak out and listen patiently and respectfully when it is time to listen. May we always be guided by the spirit of community, by the spirit of justice, and by the spirit of love. Amen. Okay. Mr. Skolnick, could we please have a roll call?
Yeah, Councilmember LeBlanc,
Present.
Councilmember Musgrove,
Here.
Councilmember Nunez,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Sinella,
Here.
and Mayor Jones.
Here. Okay, we have one presentation this evening. The California State University San Marcos NCAA National Champion, Rasha Badrani. Yes, we're gonna come on down.
Hi.
Councilmember, what are you doing?
Chit-chatting.
Oh, it's serious business here. Okay, Rasha,
Yes.
that's you.
Yes, that is.
You go, girl, 400 meters. Okay, we have an honorable certificate of recognition for your outstanding achievement in winning the women's 400 meters national championship at the NCAA 2025 Division II Indoor Track and Field Championships. This is the first NCAA national championship for CSU San Marcos in track and field, making your win historic. And it's a moment for the university for us to actually enjoy. This accomplishment is a testament to your hard work and your commitment to the sport, and the city council is so proud of you. But I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about the moment, because I'm sure there's probably a story behind that and how that felt. After you.
The moment.
Yes, your moment.
Okay. Obviously, it was a very incredible feeling, especially for it to be my first national championship as well as the school's second and then first for the track program. I mean, I'm very thankful and I'm full of a lot of gratitude for my coaches and the program, the city.
Did you have family there?
No, I didn't.
Nobody was watching it?
No,
Well,
they were
you're-
watching it on live though.
Oh, okay,
And I have my
online.
coaches, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Yes, thank you for recognizing me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm going to give that to you. And then you just come right in. Oh, by the way, how old are you?
I'm 20.
20.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to come right in here. Take a quick picture. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of the best parts of our job is to recognize young people doing things in the community, which we love so much. So congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you back next year maybe. Then you'll be a two-time winner. That would be great. Next up, we have our consent calendar. We do have a couple of speakers on that, I believe. Let me double check. Nope. Nope, sorry, we don't have any. We actually have public comment. So, seeing no speakers for the consent calendar, do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve tonight's consent
Second.
calendar.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any noes? Seeing none, moving on to public comment, we have two speakers, Grace Spivak, followed by allegedly Audra. Welcome, Grace.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for having me back. For the record, my name is Grace Spivak, and I'm here on behalf of Universidad Popular to provide our on-the-record updates. As you know, our organization works daily to support San Marcos residents. So CSUSM has identified April 11th, 2025 at 12:30 p.m. as the day of service in honor of Cesar Chavez. We will partner with North County sister colleges and high schools for a community cleanup in his honor. We look forward to working with students and community members to celebrate his legacy of service and social justice. We thank Restoration Abbey, San Marcos STEMS Club, Neighborhood Healthcare, True Care, San Diego County Registrar of Voters, Education Begins in the Home, and EDCO for their partnership for this special day. An update on the classes and programs that we offer. Our San Marcos citizenship classes are ongoing and held at San Marcos Elementary School every Tuesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're always seeking volunteer tutors to help students practice for the exam in English. Your support can make a meaningful difference in their journey to citizenship. We're deeply grateful for our partnerships with the San Marcos Unified School District and San Marcos Elementary Administration, whose collaboration makes our mission of empowering the community through civic engagement possible. Every new citizen in our region represents a new voter in our community, strengthening our democracy. We're also a part of California's Listos program and hold disaster and emergency preparedness classes across different locations in North County to help the community be prepared for any type of emergency or if they need to evacuate. Additionally, we hold workers' rights presentations as part of California's Workplace Outreach Project. We work directly with the Department of Industrial Relations to share crucial information with the community about how they're protected as workers and what the law requires of their employers. Dignity, generosity, and equity are core tenets of Universidad Popular. We acknowledge that many community members here in San Marcos are suffering from food insecurity. Our team offers a food pantry available every weekday for the individuals and families of San Marcos. We express our gratitude to those who donate, including the San Marcos Community Action Group, Sharon Jenkins, and the City of San Marcos. We wanted to share as well that our community members greatly appreciate the NCTD Plus program. We've helped many of our students request rides, and they've been successful. So we just want to make sure that the council is aware that our community utilizes this resource and appreciates it, and we do hope that the pilot program is able to continue. Lastly, we understand that the CDBG applications have been submitted, and we look forward to connecting community members with these much-needed resources. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Grace. Next up is allegedly Audra. Welcome.
Thank you. You guys weren't even paying attention to her when she was talking. It's a little bit sad. I am here to report fraud, waste, and abuse that's happening with the ALPR cameras. 17 days ago on Saturday, March 8th, a young woman was hit on her bike, motorcycle, and it was a hit and run. And, you know, we're spending millions of dollars on these ALPR cameras, and when requesting this information for these to figure out who hit her so that there can be some kind of justice, the city manager told my friend that the information is only there for an hour with the ALPR cameras. So if that is true, it's very disturbing. If it's not, then we need to know how long it's going to be kept or if it's even available. But I don't understand why we would spend millions of dollars on something that doesn't do any justice for people. And the whole point is to get, you know, justice from it. If it's there for an hour, that means that you have 60 minutes to go and check it, knowing that it's happened. It's absolutely ridiculous. That is fraud, waste, and abuse. If you're implementing this type of technology, and you can't even use it when it comes down to it. What if it was one of you that was hit? She broke her arm and her leg. She's been suffering for the past 17 days, and the sheriff isn't even really doing its job to get back to them and figure out what's going on. It's very sad to see what is happening in San Marcos. Not only with that, but like what's going on with the schools. I mean, next month they're set to sit here and decide whether or not they're going to be hiding information of sexual predators. And we're allowing boys to be in girls' dressing rooms, putting them in an unsafe place, making them feel unsafe. It's like girls are being erased, and whatever they think doesn't matter. It's really sad to see that this world is flipped upside down. Because what's wrong is right, and what's right is wrong. And if we can't change the trajectory of this, we're in for some serious trouble. So, I mean, something needs to be done. If those cameras for the ALPR are not able to be accessed after 24 or an hour, then you need to stop that program immediately until you do something to make sure that they are going to be useful and not a waste of money. People work very hard for the money that you guys take and spend. And if they don't have anything to show for it, when it really comes down to it, that's a problem. And I want you to think about, what if it was you? What if it was your daughter? What if it was your son? What if it was your niece, your nephew, your mother? Or just your friend? What would you do?
Thank you, Audra. If you leave your information, we could have our sheriff captain reach out to you and explain how our cameras are used. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Oh, wait. Actually, we have Marlene Walter. Welcome.
Madam Mayor, council members, this time I'm here talking about your new creek project, which has been in effect now a while. And I've been walking the creek quite a bit, and my friends walk the creek quite a bit. And I'm a plant person, a landscaper, and I've noticed a lot of the plants have since died. And part of the reason, I thought you guys were planting all native plants over there, but they're putting plants that aren't compatible with each other next to each other. And there is an app now available that you could go in and put the color of the plant you want, the location, the actual location, and it figures out somehow what the weather is and tells you what plants are available. I'd have to go back to a meeting I went to where the guy demonstrated how it works. But it's open to the public, and you would pick the correct plants for what is being planted. I complained years ago when you replanted this whole area, and since then it's been replanted again. They're not putting in long-lasting plants. They're putting in plants that take maintenance. And if your gardens don't understand what the maintenance of the plant is, you're wasting money and time that the gardeners aren't keeping it clean and up to date. There were a lot of plants that are behind the fence that just got unused, and the pots are worth more than the plant is now. The other thing was, it had rained 2 days earlier, so we didn't walk because it floods when you go under the bridges. And then you have to walk up above, walk a ways, and get back down under the bridge. That has not been plumbed correctly, and I'm sure you guys had engineers who were figuring it out, but under the bridge, they have that rock area, and the rock area was flooding, and it's a little lower than the walkway. And on the other side, there was mud running across, and the other side had also flooding. I can understand the creek bed, but they didn't put pipes evidently underneath that would take the water from the dry area to the other side. And I do like the gym equipment. I'm just not strong enough to use it. But those two things really bother me because I know how much money was invested in the creek project and in the plants. And I don't know who put in for what would be where and what trees. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene. We can probably have staff reach out to you and explain how that works. Thank you. Okay, next up is reports, and first up was Sandag. One of the main things that we talked about is the bus stopover, which I've only been asking for that for, it seems like 2 years. It might not be. We've spent a lot of money on that so far. So essentially what we're going to be doing is putting a pause on that, because originally that was supposed to be for Sandag offices, which we are no longer going to be using it for because we are moving forward on other offices. In fact, I think we'll be moving, I think this month, or probably not this month, probably next month. I think we're a little bit behind on that. But we are not going to be using that for anymore. And, you know, one of the things that I said is we should be using it only for what our needs are for MTS to have the stopover, which is bathrooms and a parking area. Not as this economic development thing, because our money is supposed to be spent for actual road improvements and infrastructure for transit for folks. We are a transportation agency. We're not an economic driver. So for us to purchase land and then say, well, now we don't need it for our offices, we're going to use that money, or we're going to use that property for something else, when we have transportation funds actually tied up in that, I'm adamantly opposed to that. So we will be hearing more on that, but we are definitely not going to be moving forward to purchasing more land. We do have some outstanding offers, but we are going to be dialing that back per our director. And then, so essentially that was the gist of everything. We do have another meeting coming up this coming Friday. But one thing that also, oh gosh, I almost forgot the most important thing. So we did have an update on I'm looking at the calendar right here. Sorry, I'm trying to find it. It actually was our budget, and so we got a preliminary budget, and so we are hiring three new people. 2 are in our independent auditor office, and then 1 is for a director of internal controls, which is modeled after some of the things that we are doing here in San Marcos. Some of that will be also following, and they're going to be recruiting in the next few weeks, but they will be following our direction on some of the elements of our Director of Lean Government, which is our leading efficiency, accountability, and engagement with our community. So essentially that is making sure that we're spending money wisely, making sure that we are letting the public know what that is that we're spending money on, and how we're working on our processes to make them more efficient and more cost effective. So that was actually, I can't believe I almost forgot that. I guess I have to put my glasses back on, but anyway, that was one of the most important things that we discussed. And then with that, next up is going to be League of California Cities. Councilmember Musgrove.
Thank you, Mayor. So,
Madam Mayor, excuse me, there was a public comment.
Oh, I'm
on
sorry.
this.
Oh,
And I
item
think
number
there was
11.
one other late
Item
submission
number
for
11,
public
yes,
comments.
allegedly Audra. Oh, I'm sorry, actually, yeah, and then on item number 12, yes, okay, item number 11, allegedly Audra. My apologies.
I didn't know if you were grouping them all together. I was trying to learn how it all works.
No, you can go ahead, that's
You know, I
fine.
was like, okay, I'm going to plan
No
differently.
worries.
You know, and also actually my friend Sarah here is the mother of the young woman who was hit, and she wanted to speak on non-agenda. I was wondering if that would still be possible. She did turn in her slip, but I don't know what happened.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I don't know how
Can
I
she do
missed
that first, or? do you want-
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I actually did see that. Sarah Stedman, I'm sorry, I misplaced it. My apologies, that was totally unintentional.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sarah Stedman, and my daughter was injured a couple weeks ago here in your city, and I had spoke with the officer in the back. It's under full investigation. However, I just wanted to come here today and just talk a little bit about those city cameras. We were under the understanding, we got today from the city engineer that there's only a 1 hour time frame to see those cameras of anybody who, you know, was in that intersection. Fortunately, that driver hit my daughter on her motorcycle and left her to die. She had a broken humerus and a broken left femur. I did reach out to your office directly within a few days after it happened, and I never heard back. I'm not sure if you just directed that to the sheriff's department, but I don't know. As a mom, I was just kind of begging for help. My daughter, like Audra did say, my daughter is wheelchair bound at the age of 23 now. I don't know if she's going to have the strength in her arms just because of the impact of this accident. We are working with physical therapy, and she will be starting some stem cell and to regain some of that strength and the nerves that were damaged. I was just wondering if I can just reach out to your office and kind of help with this investigation, or if there's anything that I can do to kind of expedite things. I know my daughter's not the only one, but I definitely don't want her to be like, I mean, I don't know, sorry. I really want kind of an end to this, I guess, you know. She wasn't doing anything crazy, she was just coming home, and this car just hit her. So I'm just hoping that we can kind of save our young kids and keep our streets safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. We are a sheriff contract city, so all investigations will be directly done by our sheriff's department. So I will make sure that we get your information. If you could please go down to the city clerk, if you guys could pass that down. We will make sure that we have our sheriff's department reach back out to you
Okay.
and work directly with you.
Okay.
Make
Thank
sure
you
we
so-
have all the information, no problem.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for your courage of coming and speaking this evening. Oh, sorry, you know what, that's actually the wrong slip.
Is it mine? I was going to say, I'll write my
No,
number down.
no,
too.
I think it might have been yours, actually. But that's okay. We got it. We'll make sure she has that. Okay, Audra, item number 11.
Just real quick, I wanted to say, I don't know if, I've been in a wheelchair before. I was actually paralyzed for 8 years. So it's just really sad to hear that that could be a potential future for her. So just please be mindful of that. So with Sandag, it's interesting. I mean, I think that, you know, a lot of times what Sandag does is engaging in things that the people don't want. It's like what Mayor Bill Wells was saying, is that we're always doing things against what the people want, and we're spending their money to do it. But I think it's good that you're talking about transit and restrooms, because that's something that is highly missed, basically. And so, you know, there's concentration, and I hope that would be for the public and not just workers, because if we're wanting people to engage in riding public transit, then you should be providing something so that they can actually go to the bathroom, especially the workers, but also the people, because there's so many times when you're traveling and it's like, what do you do? I mean, I don't know if people just need to start wearing Depends. It's like, because otherwise you're just going on the street. And I'm pretty sure that the new office, it'll be April 4th or something. It's like next Friday after next when they move offices. Supposedly that's what was said. Who knows if that's actually going to stay. But when you're talking about transparency and accountability with the community and the public to make sure that our funds are being spent wisely and whatnot, I feel like much of the time it's not. There's a lot of things that have been hidden, especially within Sandag. There's been a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse. And when it's been you know, talked about or exposed, sometimes it takes, you know, something in the newspaper for something to happen with it, and that's a problem. And so I'm hoping that moving forward, you know, there can be more transparency and accountability. But what also is happening is this is a United Nations agenda, and I know you guys think we're crazy for saying that, but it is. And it's like Sandag's like a mini United Nations. But if you understand what they're trying to do, it's really not to save the planet, because all of the things that are being used to potentially do that are destroying it. And, you know, it's like these 15-minute cities that they want to put people in, I mean, they're already doing it in Europe. And it's like, but here we call them complete communities and things like that. But you have to understand that in your engaging with that, you're actually backing yourself into a corner as well. because they're using you guys in order to push this. And so it's like when you understand what they're actually doing, it's kind of terrifying to think about. Because I mean, in other places, they're like, you need a permit just to leave wherever you're going. It's not about freedom, it's about enslavement. And it's sad because a lot of the young kids these days are going to love a 15-minute city because they love public transit, which no shame on them, but they don't really understand that if eventually you couldn't leave that area, that could be a problem. Like if your family lives, like if I'm in Fallbrook and you guys are here, you can't even come and visit. And I know it sounds really outrageous, but that's what this leads to.
Thank you, Audra. Next up, League of California Cities, Councilmember Musgrove.
Thank you, Mayor. And for those who don't know Audra, she dedicates a lot of time and effort to come to either to the Sand Egg meetings or at least call in and informs herself to make commentary. So for the League of California Cities, Mayor, Councilmember LeBlanc and I, along with Councilmember Nunez, will be up in Burbank at the end of this week for the semi-annual conference at our different subcommittees. And of course, Councilmember Nunez is our regional president, so she'll be, I'm sure, at meetings of a higher echelon than ours. But we should be able to report back on the results of those meetings at our next council meeting.
Okay. And we have one public speaker on this, allegedly Audra.
You guys are like, dang it, what's she doing here? Appreciate that, Ed. That's nice of you to say. You know, so the League of California Cities is supposed to be investing to reduce and prevent homelessness and increase affordable housing. And I wish that this was something that happened that actually happened. But I feel like the housing or homelessness, it's a racket. And a lot of money is thrown at it and potentially being spent to counteract it and improve the conditions of things. But in reality, I mean, as we do point in time counts, the number just always raises up. And no matter how much affordable housing is in the works, it's like we're never going to meet the numbers that we need because we're always falling short because it's a racket. And it's like you can't get rid of homelessness because if you did, there's nobody to get the money from. And the conditions that these people have to live in, and I know this isn't the city of San Diego, but like the tent cities, I mean, there's rats the size of cats in there. And these people are given slop for dinner. And, you know, they have to combat the rain if it rains in their tent, and then there's mold in the tent, and they can't keep anything dry. And it's like these people are supposed to be going into like a bridge to home type of stuff, and I'm finding that like whenever I talk to homelessness, they want housing. They want to be able to have a new chance at life, but it's like if you did that, we would get rid of the problem, then nobody fills their pockets with money. And it's like until you've been homeless, which I'm sure none of you actually probably have been, then you don't really understand what it's like. And it's like just really sad to see that people can suffer on a continual basis and that people are making money off of it and they're not really caring that these people have to like dig in the trash to get food if they don't want to eat some kind of slop or whatever it is. And the problem perpetuates because we talk about getting these people off of drugs, but then there's programs that give them free needles to exchange and pipes. So it's just really, really sad because it's like, I just wish we lived in a world where people actually cared enough to not fill their pockets, but to help people and to make sure that people don't suffer like this. But instead, it's like, you know, we have people that have never experienced it trying to decide what's best for the people that are experiencing it. And these people are kind of like tossed aside, like they're just like, and that's what happened. We got to move them around, shuffle them around so it looks like they're not here when like something specific comes in, like if Newsom comes in, right, we got to move it out so that it looks like nothing's going on. But then we do a point in time count and it's like, you want to make sure you count every head of that. Right? So it's like they're being used. And I don't know, I just think if people more put themselves in somebody else's position, then you would be able to make the best decisions for those people.
Next up is North County Transit District Deputy Mayor Sanella.
Thank you, Mayor
My
Jones.
apologies.
We had a relatively short meeting, and so probably the most relevant thing that we spoke about was we had the second hearing, and we set a public hearing for those two bus lines I mentioned last time. the one in Vista, and then the one in Carlsbad that kind of runs up and down Palomar Port Road. NCTD staff is proposing to drop those 2 bus lines. And so we had a nice discussion about that as a board and ultimately voted to go ahead and move forward with the public hearing. And then we had a long closed session. But other than that, it was a fairly short meeting.
Okay, all right. Item number 14, North County Dispatch Joint Powers Authority. Councilmember LeBlanc.
And we meet in May.
All right, we have a speaker on item number 14, allegedly Leandra.
I was hoping there was a report. Who knows? You can't really find anything in the agenda about these. It'll say like meeting stuff, and then it just takes you right back to the other agenda. But I guess since you would be here doing the reports, I kind of wanted to go into the, because fire and medical emergency dispatch services are extremely important. And these are things that, it just kind of draws me back to what happened to my friend and her daughter. And that's why these things are so important. But when we can't, complete the circle of, making sure there's justice, if so, I'm just going to keep going because it's I'm going to waste, whatever. But I just find that it's important to make sure that that all the services are, can be utilized the right way. I mean, obviously these are important, but then if the ALPR cameras are also important, then they should be something that you use to prevent things from happening, but also, make sure that we can keep people and hold them accountable. I don't really know what I'm saying. So I'm just going to keep going. It's fine. But again, I want you guys to really think about what Sarah said and do everything in your power to, if these cameras are not accessible beyond an hour, that you make sure that changes if you're going to be funding it, instead of just kind of accepting that. Because this information, it's funny because the information, there's subscriptions to that kind of stuff, to the information that comes out. So it's if you can sell that data and have it accessible to some other people, because how would that be able to be possible if you only have it for an hour? So I don't know if you're making hour clips or whatever it is, but I think we just need to be mindful when we're spending the people's money. And yeah, all right, thanks.
Next up, item number 15, Clean Energy Alliance. Councilmember Nunez.
Thank you, Mayor. Our March meeting will take place this Thursday afternoon.
Okay, and we have one speaker on this item, allegedly Audra.
Last time, I promise. Might as well just stayed here, right? So clean energy. Oh, it's is it really clean? I don't know if you guys have done any kind of studies on the health concerns or effects of this type of infrastructure. The electric, obviously we know these BESSes that are being put around everywhere are completely toxic to the environment, but they're also self-combusting lithium batteries. It's great, right? And then we can't put the fires out. And that's a safety concern when people are trying to evacuate, and then we want to bring in the roundabouts to make it very impossible for people to get out, like what happened in the Palisades. And then there were electric trucks that weren't able to get out. And so as we push people into getting electric vehicles, just the infrastructure for that, it's like when you plug in your phone and you're holding your phone, it emits immense amounts of radiation. But then go to a Tesla charging whatever, and if you're standing there next to it, it's off the charts. You guys should actually get a radiation meter and go up next to them and see how much is coming off of that. And it's poisoning. It's frequency poisoning, which can lead to symptoms that are very similar to the flu. In fact, when they were bringing in 5G, everywhere they implemented that were COVID outbreaks. So there is problems with this infrastructure, especially when we're demonizing oil, which is the blood of the earth. And when we are saying, it's like even water. Water is abundant. You're not going to run out. God wasn't like, I'm only going to give you enough till 2023, and then you guys are going to have to just use your piss and shit to basically recycle and give it back to the people, because that's all we got. So that kind of stuff is happening, and it's crazy to be living in this world at this time to see all of these things that are happening, and the brainwashing of people and the worshiping of a climate god when you need oil and gas to get the lithium and all of like cobalt and all the stuff that is used for this type of infrastructure. But we're demonizing it because the idea too is to get people out of their cars and put them in a 15-minute city. And that's why walk and bike, take public transit. So I'm just wondering, are you guys looking forward to that? Because that's what Sandag is pushing. And then coming down the pipe is a vehicle miles traveled tax. People are already struggling just to make ends meet, and now we're going to charge them to drive so they can't go nowhere. So all of this stuff is based off of propaganda, and you guys need to look into the health effects of it because it's very dangerous. And you're doing a disservice if you don't do that for the people.
Okay, next up, City Council business visits, treescapes and plant works. Who was that? Did you guys,
That was
Maria
Councilmember
and,
Nunez and I.
yes, Councilmember Nunez and Councilmember LeBlanc.
This was a surprisingly unique and niche business that was very cool. It was so interesting. So it's Treescapes and Plant Works, and they both have over 35 years of experience creating these steel artificial trees. Some of them are steel, some of them, the trunks are actually made of petrified wood. But we are standing in front of one of the beautiful trees in their lobby. They just moved to this new space in 2024, but they've been in San Marcos since 2013. But they sell to all of these high-end hotels, high-end restaurants. Basically, all of the high-end hotels in Vegas use their products. The Restoration Hardwares in Chicago and the cafe in Chicago has all these beautiful trees, and all of them were made by Treescapes and Plant Works. And you can see, there we are in their factory. Everything is hand-painted and handmade in San Marcos, then they ship it around the country. And if it's large enough, they construct it on site. But they have highly skilled artists who are trained in how to paint these trunks and install the leaves so that it looks realistic, and everything is just so stunning. And I'll let Councilmember Nunez talk a little bit about some of it as well.
Is that outside?
It's
Some of it
inside.
looks, even
That
where
was all
where the
in-
guy is like leaning over it and you guys aren't in the picture, is that outside or inside?
Inside. This is
Wow.
all inside.
It looks so realistic, like he's out in the
yes.
middle of a park building something.
Yes.
It's interesting.
It was stunning.
Yeah, it really is stunning. It's so impressive to see the workmanship. These really are incredible artists that are doing this, but it seems like the level of technical skill that they have is so impressive. I really didn't know what we were getting into. It was really hard to, until you're there and you see what they're doing on site and the level of skillmanship. One of the other things that we were told is how they recruit their talent and how specialized and the amount of training that they have to go through to achieve this level of workmanship. The other part that was interesting is that they utilize natural elements. So some of those pieces are actually, I think I don't know what the technical word was, but they go through some sort of curing process For some of the
For the wood,
tree,
for the wood
yes.
trunks? Yes, so they're wood trunks. They make those in their Miami and Las Vegas locations. And yes, they go through, they clean the wood, make sure there's no insects or any sort of living things in the wood, and then they cure it and preserve it. And then all of the steel ones are made in San Marcos, but then they put together a lot of them in San Marcos. But one thing they said that is a big challenge for them is these last too long, and they require no maintenance except for a little bit of, dusting, a little bit of water. And they said our problem is we don't have a lot of repeat customers because these last too long. So a good problem to have, I suppose. And I was very interested in purchasing one for my home. And he did say, we do commissions. He recently did a commission for somebody in New York City who wanted a giant tree in their closet with cabinets built in. And that would run you just about 150 grand if you would like something like that. But they start around 10 grand and go into the hundreds of thousands of dollars per tree because these are a total skill and they take a long time to make. And they they are working on getting a whole showroom set up in this new location. And once it's finished, I would encourage anybody to go there and check it out because it just feels so real. Everything felt so real and looked so real.
Well, I think they follow also our built to last philosophy of the city.
Yes.
It'll
Too
last
well,
as long as
too
one of
well
our
for their-
bridges.
Exactly.
For a business model. I do want to point out, if we look to the picture to my right, where you see Councilmember LeBlanc touching that palm tree. So that is one of the items that it's all natural that goes through that curing process.
Wow.
And I don't know how long those last. I don't think those have the same lifespan as the
I don't think
metal.
so either. I think he said those had a shorter lifespan, but that's just the palm fronds that they take those are live trees, and then they immediately cure them and preserve them. But everything else is completely artificial other than when they do the wood trunks.
And
so just really cool.
Yes, the
So
gentleman
one
on
in the middle? The one in the middle is that?
That's steel.
That's steel.
Yes,
Wow.
yeah.
That is so
That's
realistic.
completely artificial.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so impressive. I was going to say that the gentleman on the picture on the right is Ira Falk, the owner, who's just a wealth of information.
Yes, very interesting, very smart, just really passionate about what he does, and they found a great niche, a great business. They have a lot of success. It's a really, really cool small business to have here in the city. They also are hiring for some different positions. I know they need salespeople. They said a couple sales positions. They're always looking for artists who
I was
are
wondering.
talented
Yeah.
and are willing to be trained in this type of skill. And so if you or anybody you know is looking for that sort of job, they are they're always looking for artists. They said it's a very technical skill set, and they always need talented people because they are very picky with who they pick for that.
I think our economic development director should be reaching out to Palomar to see if they can actually create some local talent, since we believe in that so much.
We did discuss that, actually.
Oh, really?
At
Okay.
the visit yesterday,
All right.
and they were all for it. We suggested partnerships with Palomar and Cal State San Marcos.
Yeah.
And they were definitely open to that. So Tess does have, our Director of Economic Development is getting that going.
We're all on the same page. I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. That is really incredible and so realistic and beautiful artistry. Okay, moving on to council commentary. Any items any council members wish to bring up? No? All right. With that, this meeting is adjourned.